Captain Crayfish. For this session, I'm going to talk about regional cash flow. And I'll say it again, region cash flow. Now, I said this every time. What is absolutely needed for regional cash flow is city storage. Your city storage will save your butt. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I take my factories and I take my shops with me, and I leave them in the regions until I hit around the $500,000 mark, because that's it's just a real pain in the hiney when you have to flick between wherever your factories and shops are and where it is, like you might have left it in your capital. So I always make sure that I have sufficient room to have all of my factories and all of my shops there. Now, my big money makers. Now, if you're just a beginner, if you are just a beginner, I would suggest this becomes your main money maker. I know a lot of mayors. They make a heap of hamburgers. Hamburgers take ages to sell, and if you're going to sell them honestly, only put two out. Only put two out at a time in your online. Here it is over here on your trade depot. Only put two. Don't put any more than two because they will take ages. The other good money maker I find in between making key resources from my regions is I also put out these gnomes at in groups of two. Yeah, because that's a nice number that people seem to buy. Same with the pizzas. Only put your pizzas out in groups of two. If you can afford to wait, yeah, go for it and put it in larger groups. But I only put it in groups of two. Over here we have the fire pit, and again groups of two. Otherwise, I actually stockpile a huge chunk of my resources and actually leave it there so that I can update all my regions a lot quicker. You might see there that I've got some nice key. I've got yoga mats. I always try and hold at least 10 in my storage, only because they help me. As you go up and continue building, you'll find that there are key components. You see key components there that you will require to hold on. So you need to hold on to quite a few little, and 10 seems to be a great number. Let's go back to here. So if, again, I've been carefully stockpiling enough resources here, the paint, so I'm going to pop those in there. When you put 5 of these up, you get instant 10 grand. I try not to sell these because you need them, and they pop up a lot when you're looking at upgrading your buildings in there. Again, you need to keep your factories running. If you're a beginner, let's get back to here. If you're a beginner, cheesecakes. Cheesecakes are a good money maker. For 5 of these babies, you can get over 11k. So cheesecakes are a big must. Now, I tend to just make the watermelons and the seeds. And usually when you're doing your scanning across the trade depot, you can pick up quite a few lumps of cheese on occasion. But at the moment, a lot of my watermelons are going towards my regional, my region. Here you go. These things here. That's where they're going, to these babies. Now I've got enough for 2. I'll put it in there, and I'll chuck another one in there. So the key is keep your areas stockpiled. Okay, keep your factories running. Now again, these wheels pop up. These wheels here pop up quite often. I'm not going to build any more wheels because I need to get back into making motors. And since I haven't got an, I'll just chuck a wheel in there too. I don't use any of my speed tokens in here. Only because I'd rather spend all my speed tokens in here. in building my resources a lot faster and a lot cheaper. At the moment I'm at 175,000 simoleons. Let's go here. So I use a heap of those, and continually make those. So I've got 18 of these measuring tapes, and that's why I always keep 5 of these running, continually building these specific resources here, and I'll pop them up and get them going again. Now these take 3 hours, so sort of squeeze them in where you can, and keep these running. Keep your factories running. It is worthwhile updating all of these here, updating here. Keep them updated, because if you want to seriously make a lot of coin, that's how you can do it. Now those there, I need to get into making a ton of those, so I'll chuck all those again. I use 5 of the 5 factories running those, and 4 factories running these, and it seems to be a nice general pattern. And because I've got this hooked on my iPhone as well, I can, you sort of figure out when you can. So you might be in town, you might be shopping, you might be hanging out with your mates, you might be going to the beach, I don't know, but you can just pop in, empty it, and that's a gain. And I'm lucky, because I can afford to do that, because I've got a 475 storage capacity, which is soon going to be increased to 20 more. Here we go. I'll just pop, because we need a ton of this paint. Here we go there, and I need iron. Here we are. And we're going to chuck those all in there. And yeah, so if you're serious about making money, chuck those in there. Before I go and put those up, now, the other thing you have to figure out is which units are the hardest to get in the trade depot. Lawnmowers are one of them. Lawnmowers are actually one of them. So figure those out. Lawnmowers are one, so I try and keep a group of lawnmowers. The other one are these backpacks. Try and keep about 5 in your storage. If you can, maybe 5 of the lawnmowers, because you hardly come across them on the trade depot. So the trick is to try and keep hold of some of them. The other one that doesn't come up that often is the cupboards. And corn, if you can, and if you come across that, buy it, because a lot of the upgrades of buildings require corn. So there's all these little niggly things that sort of can be a bit of a pain in the kahuna, and you think, oh no, I can't upgrade because I haven't got that resource. Yeah, so when you come across those things, buy them. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much sweet. That didn't take long. I went through a little bit of a phase thinking, oh, maybe I can, sell these other cheap items in bulk, but then I just chewed up too much time. Now, that's enough iron for now. I'm going to get these running, because I need these to build more paint, and I'll show you just before I take off. Here we go. This is what these are the big money makers. Number 1, robes. Number 2, definitely yoga mats. Now, again, I can keep this rolling continually simply because I have stockpiled the resources. I have stockpiled capacity, and I'll go to my I might need those just for a moment, because we're in a Mayor's tournament. Those will come in handy, and I haven't got very many. I'll pop back over, check those. Yeah, I think that's all full. Yep, see, factory's capacity is all ready to go. Now the one that doesn't, this is my Sunny Isles. It's pretty new. I visit it now and then, just to get my upgrades, just to build my populations up, keep everyone happy, keep an eye on everything. But again, yeah, that's building as efficiently as possible. I will build these up once I get more cash. I try not to spend real cash on there, because it can be, it can chew up a lot of resources. But yeah, that's my spin on how I make a ton of money. And the more regions, when I had one region, it was a bit tough. When I went to two regions, you had to really work around things. I should have bought some more of those to update. I'll pop those in there. Oh no, I need that to upgrade the building. And I'll come back later once I have the resources in there, to keep this chugging along, because you need to keep this chugging along. Now, although I can update it, I just haven't got the money to at the moment, and yeah, it's just the money thing. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. If you've got any questions, please ask. I will do refreshers on keeping these topped up. I hope I haven't missed anything. Keep being awesome. Keep building. Keep being creative. That's the one thing I love about this. You can be creative, and you can make things look pretty cool. And I must say, I'm actually enjoying the regions update. I've got 4 down, 1 to go. 1 to go. Here it is here, Frosty Fords. I've got 1 to go. Have fun.